Ever felt a stirring in your soul? A nudge that whispers, "There's more." If these words resonate, you're not here for incremental improvements. You seek a quantum leap, compressing time through perspective, not frantic activity. This journey is about radical clarity, cutting through distractions. It's about effortless action guided by inner knowing. Understand your why so the how unfolds with grace. Ask powerful questions, unlock insights, and make this week count. Welcome. Ask yourself, what would I do if I were deeply fearless and could not fail? Allow that question to permeate your being. It's an invitation to explore your potential, to dream beyond limitations. Imagine barriers dissolving. What possibilities open up? We are talking about liberating ourselves from the chains that bind our aspirations. What would you do if fear no longer dictated your actions? It's about uncovering the ambitions that fear has suppressed within you. Let's visualize a fear-free existence in your life. Close your eyes and immerse yourself. If there were no negative repercussions, what actions would you take today? Would you speak up, articulate your needs, your boundaries, your ideas with calm confidence? Would you start that project, that business, that creative endeavor? Or would you leave that job, that relationship, that environment? Conversely, would you create the art, the music, the community? What if you knew with absolute certainty that you were capable? It's a profound truth, one that we often overlook in our pursuit of success and our avoidance of discomfort. Fear has paralyzed more dreams, stifled more potential, and prevented more joy than failure ever could. Let that statement really land. Failure, when we encounter it, is an event. It's a data point. It's an opportunity to learn, to adapt, to grow stronger, to refine our approach. It can be painful, yes, but it is often temporary and, more importantly, instructive. It teaches us resilience, humility, and provides invaluable insights that can pave the way for future successes. Fear, on the other hand, is a state of being. It's an ongoing internal narrative, a persistent anticipation of a negative outcome that may never even materialize. It's the ghost of failure, haunting our present and dictating our future before we've even taken the first step. This anticipatory dread, this constant what-if scenario playing on a loop in our minds, is what truly holds us captive. It keeps us stuck in indecision, in procrastination, in the safety of the known, even when that known is deeply unfulfilling. Fear convinces us not to try, thereby guaranteeing we never reach our goals. Think about the energy consumed by fear. The worry, the anxiety, the second-guessing, the mental gymnastics we perform to avoid perceived threats. This energy, if redirected, could fuel incredible creativity, innovation, and action. Failure, at least, means you tried. It means you stepped into the arena. It means you were brave enough to pursue something. Fear, however, often keeps us on the sidelines, watching life pass by, wondering what if. It prevents us from even entering the game, thereby precluding any chance of victory, however small, or learning, however valuable. So, when we ask, what would I do if I could not fail? We are essentially asking ourselves to momentarily silence that inner critic, that voice of fear, and to connect with our deepest aspirations. By imagining a scenario devoid of failure, we bypass the paralyzing effect of fear and gain clarity on what truly matters to us. This clarity can then empower us to take action despite the fear, recognizing that the true failure lies not in falling short, but in never daring to try at all, in allowing fear to be the sole author of our life story. Now, how do we translate this powerful, expansive question into tangible, meaningful action, not in some distant future, but starting this very week? The goal isn't to become entirely fearless overnight. That's an unrealistic expectation. Instead, it's about using this question as a compass to guide small, courageous steps forward, to consciously choose actions that align with your fearless self, even if a little apprehension still lingers. It's about cultivating a practice of acting in spite of fear. Begin by identifying one specific area in your life this week, just one where you feel fear is holding you back. It doesn't have to be a monumental task. Perhaps it's speaking up in a meeting when you usually stay silent. Maybe it's initiating a conversation you've been avoiding. It could be dedicating just 1 hour to that creative project you've been putting off, or researching that course you're interested in. Choose something that feels slightly outside your comfort zone but is manageable and meaningful to you. Once you've identified this area, consciously apply the question, if I were fearless and could not fail in this specific situation, what would I do? Visualize yourself taking that action successfully, feeling the confidence and empowerment that comes with it. Really embody that feeling. Then, Commit to taking that one small, fearless action this week. Don't overthink it. Don't allow the what-ifs to creep back in and derail you. Simply decide, and then act, as if failure is not an option in this singular instance. Remember, the journey towards a more courageous life is built on a foundation of small, consistent acts of bravery. Each time you step through fear, no matter how minor the instance, you diminish its power and expand your own capacity for bold action. This week, your task is to plant that one seed of fearless action. Nurture it with the belief that you cannot fail in this endeavor, and observe how this single act begins to shift your perception of what's possible, creating momentum for even greater strides in the weeks to come. This is how a week begins to count like a year. Our second guiding question invites us to shift our focus from the immediate horizon to a slightly longer view, to tap into a powerful intrinsic motivator. What will I be most proud of 1 year from now? This isn't just about achievement, it's about the feeling of deep, resonant pride that comes from living in alignment with your values, from making choices that honor your future self. It encourages us to consider the legacy of our actions, not in a grandiose sense, but in terms of the personal satisfaction and integrity we cultivate over time. Notice the emphasis here. Proud, not popular, not praised by others. Simply, deeply, personally proud. Popularity is fleeting, often dependent on external validation and shifting societal trends. Praise, while pleasant, can sometimes lead us to chase external approval rather than internal alignment. But pride, true pride, is an internal compass. It's that quiet, steady sense of self-respect that arises when your actions are congruent with your deepest beliefs about who you are and who you aspire to be. It's a feeling that no one can give you and no one can take away. Why is this distinction so crucial? Because chasing popularity or praise can often lead us astray, making us compromise our values or contort ourselves to fit others' expectations. This path can lead to a hollow sense of accomplishment, even if external markers of success are present. True pride, however, is a wellspring of sustainable motivation. It's rooted in authenticity. When you make decisions based on what will make your future self proud, you are inherently choosing paths that lead to genuine growth, resilience, and a profound sense of meaning in your life's journey. This deep satisfaction, this inner glow of pride, comes from knowing you acted with courage when it was easier to shrink. It comes from demonstrating discipline when temptation was strong, from extending kindness when bitterness would have been understandable, or from persevering through challenges when giving up seemed like the only option. It's about the character you build, the integrity you uphold, and the person you become in the process of striving. This question redirects your focus from fleeting external rewards to lasting internal fulfillment, guiding your choices today by the wisdom of your future self. Let's engage in a powerful mental exercise. Picture yourself clearly, vividly, 1 year into the future. It's this exact time next year. Where are you? What does your life look and feel like? More importantly, who have you become? Try to step into this future version of yourself. See through their eyes. Feel what they feel. This isn't just daydreaming. It's a technique called future pacing, and it's incredibly effective for gaining clarity on our present decisions by tapping into the wisdom of our anticipated future state. As you inhabit this future self 1 year from now, what specific decisions, actions, or accomplishments from the past 12 months fill you with the deepest sense of pride? Don't just think about big, monumental achievements. Sometimes the things that make us proudest are the consistent small efforts, the difficult choices made with integrity, the personal battles won quietly. What does this future, proud self thank your present self for having done, for having started, or perhaps for having let go of? Listen closely to the whispers of this wiser, more experienced you. This future perspective acts like a powerful filter, helping to cut through the immediate pressures and short-term temptations of the present moment. When faced with a choice today, ask yourself, will this action contribute to the version of myself I want to be proud of in a year, or will it detract from it? Suddenly the path forward becomes clearer. The allure of instant gratification might fade when weighed against the enduring satisfaction of long-term pride. This helps you prioritize what truly matters for your growth and fulfillment. So, the core of this inquiry becomes intensely practical. What decision today, what single action initiated this week, would make that future self, looking back a year from now, nod in approval and say with genuine gratitude and admiration, "I'm so glad I did that. I am so proud that I had the courage, the foresight, the discipline to make that choice." This question bridges the gap between your current reality and your desired future, making your aspirations a tangible guide for your everyday actions, ensuring that your daily efforts are building towards a future you genuinely value. What kinds of actions then consistently cultivate this deep, enduring sense of pride? While the specifics will vary for each individual, there are universal themes that often emerge. Actions rooted in courage almost invariably lead to pride, the courage to face your fears, to speak your truth, to step outside your comfort zone, to stand up for what you believe in, even when it's difficult or unpopular. These moments of bravery become cornerstones of a proud personal history, reminding you of your inner strength. Then there's the pride that stems from discipline and consistency. Think about mastering a new skill, achieving a health goal, building a positive habit, or consistently showing up for a commitment even when motivation wanes. These achievements are not born from a single flash of brilliance, but from the steady, often unglamorous application of effort over time. This kind of pride is deeply satisfying because it reflects your ability to commit to your own growth and follow through on your intentions, proving to yourself that you are capable and reliable. We must also differentiate between the fleeting pleasure of short-term gratification and the profound, lasting satisfaction of pride-worthy achievements. Indulging in an immediate desire might feel good in the moment, but it rarely contributes to a sense of long-term pride. In fact, it can sometimes lead to regret. Pride, conversely, is often built on choices that require a degree of sacrifice, patience, or delayed gratification, choosing the harder right over the easier wrong, investing in your future self rather than merely appeasing your present discomforts. Ultimately, the most pride-inducing actions are those that are deeply aligned with your core personal values. When you act in a way that honors what you hold most sacred, be it integrity, compassion, learning, contribution, or creativity, you build a sense of inner coherence and self-respect. This alignment is the true source of unshakable pride. It's not about conforming to external expectations of what should make you proud, but about identifying what genuinely resonates with your authentic self and then having the courage and commitment to live by those principles, day in and day out. So how do we take this powerful concept of future pride and weave it into the fabric of our current week, making it a practical tool for immediate action? The key is to translate the long-term vision of what will make you proud in a year into specific, actionable choices you can make right now, today, or within the next 7 days. It's about making conscious decisions, however small, that are in service of that future, proud self you envision. This brings intention and purpose to even mundane tasks. This week, I invite you to identify one specific decision, one commitment, or one action you can take, primarily motivated by the desire to feel proud of yourself when you look back. Perhaps it's choosing to dedicate focused time to a meaningful project, instead of succumbing to distractions. Maybe it's having that overdue, honest conversation with someone, even if it feels uncomfortable. It could be as simple as sticking to a new healthy habit for 7 consecutive days, or consciously choosing kindness in a challenging interaction. Consider the feeling of empowerment that arises when you make choices not out of obligation, fear, or a desire to please others, but from a deep-seated intention to honor your future self. There's a quiet strength in knowing you are actively building a life that will fill you with genuine pride. This internal locus of control, this commitment to your own values and aspirations, is incredibly energizing. It transforms decision-making from a burden into an opportunity for self-expression and growth. Commit to that one pride-driven decision this week. Write it down, tell a trusted friend if that helps with accountability. And then, as you follow through, pay close attention to how it feels. Notice the subtle shifts in your perspective, your energy, and your sense of self-respect. This single act, motivated by future pride, can create a ripple effect, inspiring further aligned choices and gradually shaping a life that is not only successful by external standards, but deeply, authentically, and proudly your own. This is how you make this week a building block for a year you'll cherish. Welcome back. We often believe progress comes from adding more, but what if true growth lies in strategic elimination? What if the very things we cling to are the anchors weighing us down? This week we ask ourselves, what must I stop doing? Consider a hot air balloon tethered to the ground. It remains grounded until those tethers are released. We carry habits and mindsets that act as invisible anchors, like endless scrolling or negative self-talk. The cumulative effect of these anchors is profound, preventing us from experiencing our potential. Most people are not drowning because of what they're missing. but because of what they're carrying. The first step is honest self-assessment. Ask yourself, what patterns leave me feeling depleted? Be brave enough to name these anchors. Let's explore the illusion of productivity, the trap of being perpetually busy without being truly effective. Busyness is often worn as a badge of honor. Digital distractions create a vortex that can consume hours, leaving us feeling empty. This brings us to the courage to say no. Every yes to something that doesn't align with our priorities is a no to something that does. It's about creating space for what truly matters. It's about making conscious choices about where your precious life energy flows. Some of the heaviest anchors we carry are found in our relationships and our internal mindsets. Healthy relationships uplift and inspire us. Sometimes we find ourselves entangled in connections that drain our energy. Letting go can be incredibly challenging, yet sometimes it is the most loving act we can perform for ourselves. Parallel are the internal anchors, our limiting beliefs and fear-based mindsets. Chasing external validation is another such anchor. Releasing these intangible weights is akin to an internal decluttering. It involves questioning our assumptions and cultivating a new narrative based on self-compassion. Imagine the profound sense of freedom that accompanies this internal and relational pruning. Let's understand the transformative power of intentional elimination. It's moving from glorifying accumulation to recognizing the wisdom in discerning what truly adds value. This is about creating a life rich in meaning by consciously curating what occupies our space, time, and energy. Start by identifying one thing this week that you will consciously stop doing. Write it down. Approach it as an act of self-liberation. Small changes consistently applied can lead to significant transformations. Stopping something isn't a loss. It's a gain in freedom and clarity. We've explored letting go and creating space. Now, our final question: what advice would I give someone else in my exact situation? We often have clarity when advising others, but struggle with our own challenges. Imagine a friend with your dilemma. What advice springs to mind? This shift unlocks your inner wisdom. Embody the role of an empathetic coach for yourself. Extend the same kindness and understanding to yourself that you would offer a beloved friend. Acknowledge the emotions involved without judgment. Consider the questions a wise mentor would gently pose. What are you truly feeling? What are your deepest fears and desires? As you pose these questions, listen carefully to your own internal responses. You might be surprised by the clarity that begins to surface. It's like climbing a mountain to get a panoramic view. View your situation through the compassionate lens of a trusted advisor. Find a way forward that feels both authentic and empowering. The answers we seek often reside within us. Our intuition constantly points us towards our truth, but in the noise of daily life, this inner voice can be drowned out. Cultivate moments of quiet reflection to hear it. Advise a friend in your situation. This allows your intuitive intelligence to speak. You already possess the guidance you need. You are indeed your own best advisor. Insight alone is incomplete. Bridge the gap between knowing and doing. This is where courage meets commitment. Break advice into small, manageable steps. The size of the step doesn't matter as much as the direction. Treat yourself with the same encouragement you would offer a friend. Celebrate each act of courage. Cultivate self-trust and resilience. Unlock growth and fulfillment by becoming your own best coach. We've explored fearlessness, future pride, the power of subtraction, and becoming our own compassionate coach. Integrate these insights into your life, starting this week. Block off 1 hour, perhaps tomorrow morning. Turn off your phone, create a sanctuary. Open your journal and answer these questions as if your life depends on it. Stop drifting and start designing. These questions are your tools to create a blueprint for a foundation built on purpose. Take the step. Write down your truth. Live a life designed by you for you.